dressed the kids and took them to the roadside and put them in a vehicle. I'm about 80% sure I know who was driving the vehicle. I know who was in the vehicle. And before they realized what happened, things blew up so quick.
Friday, May 2nd, 2025, 11:04 a.m. The stillness of a late spring morning in rural Nova Scotia is broken by a single call to 911. On the line, Malaya Sullivan, her voice shaking, breathing uneven, reports her 2 children are missing, 6-year-old Lily, 4-year-old Jack. She says they vanished somewhere in the woods off Lancedone Road. Within minutes, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police descend on the area. Patrol cars crunch gravel. Yellow tape flutters in the wind. The sound of barking K-9 units echoes through the trees. Drones are launched overhead, scanning the dense forest canopy. Volunteers form human chains, searching shoulder to shoulder. Every ditch, every pond, every shadow is combed through. The hours stretch into days. Over 12,000 man-hours are poured into the search, one of the largest in Nova Scotia's recent history. They find no backpacks, no jackets, no shoes, not a single shred of clothing. Only one strange clue emerges, a lone boot print in the soft earth. Investigators photograph it, measure it, and collect soil samples, but it is never confirmed as belonging to either Lily or Jack. The community clings to hope, but whispers begin to spread. Why no trace? Why so clean a disappearance in terrain that swallows nothing quietly? Weeks later, the RCMP releases their final report. Buried in its pages is a quiet, devastating admission, one the public never heard shouted at a press conference. Based on collected evidence, it is likely the children were no longer in the area by the time the initial search commenced. In other words, by the time that 911 call was made at 11:04 a.m., Lilly and Jack Sullivan were already gone. And the question that follows is the one that still haunts Nova Scotia. Gone where and with whom? Hidden deep in Section 4 of the RCMP's final report lies a single line, one that changes the entire timeline of the Lilly and Jack Sullivan case. The timestamp, May 1st, 2:03 p.m. According to the report, this is the last confirmed moment the children were captured on roadside CCTV. In the footage, Lily and Jack are seen standing with their mother, Malaya Sullivan, and her partner, Daniel McKenzie, near the edge of a rural highway. They are not running, crying, or trying to get away. They appear to be with people they know and trust. This detail alone throws the official narrative into question. For months, the focus had been on possible abduction or a mysterious stranger. But if the final confirmed sighting shows the children with their mother and her partner, then what really happened in the hours that followed? From May 1st, 2:03 p.m. until the time police were first contacted the next day, there is a 20-hour gap, a silent stretch of time in which no one, officially, can account for the movements of the children, their mother, or Mackenzie. In any missing persons case, the first 24 hours are critical. Here, those hours pass without any call to law enforcement, without any public alert, without any documented search efforts from those last seen with the children. The RCMP report also notes that several digital records from that window, including text messages, location data, and call logs, are missing or deleted. Investigators believe these deletions were intentional, erasing communications that could have shed light on what was happening in those crucial hours. Even more troubling, the official release of this information only came at the end of the investigation, buried in hundreds of pages of technical and procedural notes. It was never part of the public briefings when the search was active, meaning the community had been working under an incomplete timeline. For families, search teams, and concerned residents, this revelation is more than a detail. It's a turning point. It forces new questions. Why was there a delay in contacting authorities? Who was in control of the children during that time? And what exactly was removed from the digital record? The timestamp at 2:03 p.m. is no longer just a piece of surveillance data. It's the last unshakable truth in a case now clouded by silence, missing evidence, and unanswered questions. The final RCMP report confirms what many in the community had quietly feared for months. This tragedy didn't begin the day Lily and Jack vanished. In fact, The seeds of suspicion were already planted days earlier when Child Protective Services, CPS, intervened and removed the children's baby sister from the home. That infant, according to the report, had been taken into protective custody under urgent circumstances. Their mother, Malaya, was already under strict court orders. But instead of complying, she fled to a Mi'kmaq reserve, evading direct oversight while tensions between the family and authorities escalated. Just 7 minutes ago, the RCMP released its final investigative report on the disappearance of Lilly and Jack Sullivan. Buried deep in its pages are revelations the public has never seen before. Critical evidence that challenges everything we believed about this case, especially the mysterious 20-hour gap before the police were alerted. The report shows Lilly and Jack were last captured on CCTV on May 1st at 2:03 p.m., nearly a full day before the 911 call was made. During that unexplained window, digital records were deleted and movements remain unaccounted for. It also confirms that Child Protective Services had removed the children's baby sister days earlier, and that Malaya Sullivan, their mother, was under court orders and had fled to a nearby Mi'kmaq reserve. GPS data reveals a vehicle leaving the area hours before the call, heading toward the New Brunswick border, suggesting criminal concealment of minors rather than simple abduction. Several family members gave inconsistent statements, and one redacted section hints at possible coordinated transport involving multiple individuals. With traditional leads exhausted, the RCMP urges anyone with information to come forward. The truth is closer than ever, and the unanswered 20 hours may hold the key to finding Lilly and Jack. This revelation reframes the entire timeline. It means that before the disappearance even occurred, law enforcement and child welfare agencies were already on high alert regarding the children's safety. In such cases, CPS removals are rarely arbitrary. They happen only when credible concerns exist about neglect, abuse, or an immediate threat to a child's well-being. The report also outlines a swift, decisive response from investigators once Lilly and Jack were reported missing. Major Crimes was activated within hours, a rare move for a missing persons case involving children, and it sent a clear signal. The RCMP did not believe this was simply a case of kids wandering off. From the very start, they were treating it as a potential criminal investigation, with an urgency that reflected how high the stakes really were. Perhaps most tellingly, the report reveals that during interviews, certain family members demonstrated inconsistent statements. Those 3 words carry enormous weight in investigative work. Inconsistencies aren't just minor slips of memory. They can indicate attempts to mislead, conceal, or reframe events. When such contradictions arise, detectives are trained to press harder, to compare statements, cross-check timelines, and determine whether the discrepancies are innocent or intentional. In this case, the inconsistencies combined with the prior CPS intervention, the mother's defiance of court orders, and the rapid involvement of Major Crimes paint a troubling picture, one where family dynamics and possible hidden motives may have played a far greater role in Lilly and Jack's disappearance than many initially realized. Perhaps the most shocking detail lies buried deep within Appendix C of the RCMP's final report. GPS data analyzed by investigators reveals that hours before the 911 call reporting Lilly and Jack missing, a vehicle departed the area, heading directly toward the New Brunswick border. This crucial piece of evidence raises serious questions about who was involved and why the children were moved so far from their home without immediate detection. The report's language is telling. Instead of labeling the case as a straightforward abduction, the RCMP classified it as criminal concealment of minors. This distinction implies a deliberate attempt to hide or shield the children rather than a random kidnapping. The term points toward complicity, perhaps even from those closest to children, who may have sought to obscure their whereabouts. Adding to the mystery, one paragraph in the report is almost entirely redacted, making its contents unknown to the public, but hinting at deeper involvement. This section references a possible coordinated transport of the children, suggesting that more than one individual may have participated in moving them. The implication is that this was no lone act but a planned effort involving multiple people working together. These revelations have sent shockwaves through the community, stirring speculation and fear. If multiple individuals coordinated to conceal the children, the layers of deception run deeper than initially imagined. The question now is, who was involved and what was their motivation? As the investigation moves forward, this GPS data and the hint of coordinated action become key threads. They push the case beyond a simple missing person search into a complex criminal inquiry, one that demands answers not just about where Lilly and Jack are, but who is protecting them and why. The RCMP's final report is now public and confirms what many feared. All traditional leads have been thoroughly pursued and exhausted. Yet, the fate of Lilly and Jack Sullivan remains unknown. Authorities stress that someone, somewhere, holds crucial information that could bring these missing children home. The silence surrounding those 20 unexplained hours after they were last seen continues to cast a shadow over the investigation. If you have any details, no matter how small, that could help unravel this mystery, you are urged to contact the RCMP Major Crimes Unit without delay. The community, the family, and the investigators are all waiting for answers. This is not just a case file. It's about 2 young lives that depend on someone speaking up. There are no more secrets left in this case. Only the truth that needs to be found.